Welcome into Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. I am so excited here for week one. It could not be better than this. We have a new co-host with me this year, Brate, and a perfect first guest for the year, Baker Mayfield, the friendly neighborhood QB1, who just put on a show this weekend. Bakes, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
This is amazing. First of all, congrats on the win. Huge game by you, the offense, the whole team. A win at home. You're 24 of 30, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Is this basically the ideal opening game for you, the team, the offense, especially having a new offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I think efficiency-wise, yes. I mentioned it post-game. Needed to be better in the red zone, finishing with touchdowns instead of field goals early on. But, the way we finished with the ball in the second half, I think was really what you want to see. The physicality, running the ball when we needed to take time off the clock. It was a good week one to build off of.
How'd you feel going into this season, maybe compared to some others, the attitude, the mindset for you personally as you walked out there week one?
Really clear-minded. Just the chemistry with the guys, a lot of the same pieces, obviously added some new ones. Familiarity with Liam as well. Just excited with the group that we have. And just, the potential, and just ready to get out there and play somebody else besides our own defense.
Yeah. I can imagine. I feel like last year, the team really exceeded outside expectations. I know those were different from the internal ones here, but, you guys were able to kind of ignore all the haters out there, knew what you had internally. Does it feel similar again this year? Do you feel like that's still kind of happening of the outside versus inside expectations a bit?
I do. The preseason's the preseason for a reason. Everybody talks about the new acquisitions by teams, and last year I think everybody was talking about the Saints with Derek showing up, and now it's Atlanta with Kirk and a few other pieces. But this team's had the stable veterans that have had unbelievable careers for a long time now, and it's just kind of the way it works around here in Tampa. I've realized is, our studs don't really get the recognition. I mean, Mike Evans, Levante David, Will Golston, some of these guys that have been playing for a long time at a very high level, they just kind of fly under the radar. But you kind of enjoy that. Our guys just go about their business, show up on Sundays and make a lot of plays. So, I think we enjoy it.
Cam, what did you see from them week one, watching this offense from the outside now and seeing just how they looked and knowing what it feels like internally, and then to know watching outside? What stood out to you about watching this guy and especially the rest of the offense?
Yeah, so obviously brought in the new OC. That presents a ton of new challenges. Obviously you had some familiarity with him, so you just don't really know what to expect, especially as a spectator watching the first game. I had a bunch of takeaways from the game. First, I want to say Bake, very mobile, very strong in the pocket.
You said that in a surprising tone. I like it.
Well, so I'm going somewhere with this. So I just need to know.
Mobile?
I feel like there was a lot of buzz, like, hey, Bake looks really good. Put a lot of work in this offseason. So are you going to attribute your mobility, escapability to Suka and your workouts, or is it the dad strength kicking in?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
The strength to resist some tackles,
dad
strength.
Yeah.
Mobility, though, go back to Suka.
Okay, and then...
Wait, explain what that is for people who don't know.
Suka?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a local gym, not affiliated with the Buccaneers. Bake came in. He got some great workouts in. He worked really hard.
Yeah.
So it was working out with Cam. That was essentially.
No, let's get one thing straight. In the off season, I'm going to work out at a normal time. This psycho is going to show up at 5 a.m. for no reason at all.
In retirement,
I
we're
got
doing
responsibilities now. As a new father, I have things I have to do the rest of the day.
Apparently you
I feel
don't.
like that was a subtle jab.
Yeah.
But we're gonna roll with it. No, but it's just it's a good community. Like you got some retired guys over there working out, but it's like that community feel with ex-athletes, current athletes, just the competition level. Everybody's kind of pushing each other. So it was a big part of my off-season program.
Do you think the dad strength is real?
It actually is.
So you had a great game yesterday. Great game.
Thanks, Cam.
First throw downfield though, third down to Trey. Sailed it a little. So you were just adjusting, you think? And because the rest of the game, you really settled in, next 14 passes.
Luckily, they called a penalty on that one. He's running across the field. and I saw what he was doing. I thought the DB was going to undercut it, so I tried to put it with air, but I put it too far inside instead of leading him towards the sideline. So, yeah, thanks for reminding me of that.
No, but you played great.
I would like to state for the record, players are always like, man, the media is so negative. The moment this guy becomes media, he's bringing up the one incompletion out of the whole game.
But, all right, so when you play great, like,
you got to find the one thing.
Yeah, it wasn't. You
didn't
have a perfect passer rating.
No, it could have been better. It could have been better.
Yeah.
It could have been better.
Is this your job to keep him humble? Is that
100%.
what we've assessed here? You don't want him getting
so.
a big head after week one?
But like especially like the first third down of the game, you're like, oh, we have this play drawn up for man coverage, it's working, and then screwed it up. You know, it's one of those you look back on, you're like, we have the design, it's just execution.
You bounce back.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. We're talking to Baker Mayfield here on Buccaneers Total Access. We've talked a little bit about Liam Cohen, new offensive coordinator coming in. You had a little experience with him before. What has it been like watching him come in here now, and the response from the team to him, what he's put into place, and just overall looking at this offense and the mark he's been able to put on it already?
I think he saw a lot of, the mental side of the game, how well he called the game, first of all, but it's asking the guys a lot to learn. Multiple play calls at a time, to be prepared for whatever look they're going to present us. And so we were able to get into great calls, but Liam's giving us the options when he's doing it. And I think you saw the variety of the run game, the motions, the play action, some of the drop back stuff, just giving them a lot of similar formations and looks, but having different plays off of it. And so that's the special part about this offense. Once guys realize it and learn it and become second nature and they play fast, it's a really explosive offense.
And it looks like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin still very good at football.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. I mean, even just in the first half, you're 10 for 11 when you throw to them, 115 yards and a touchdown. Does feel like just in general, good call to throw to either of them as much. So now Godwin's touchdown makes him number 2 all time on the receiving touchdown. So he's sole possession of second place in franchise history in career receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns, second only to, obviously,
only to
Mike in all these categories. Wow. For you to know you have the top 2 in franchise history at the same time at your disposal as a quarterback, how does that warm your heart?
It makes my life a lot easier, I'll tell you that. One-on-one coverage, those guys are different breed. Chris is the type of guy, somebody could be draped all over him. He's so strong through the catch, physical, and we moved him back to where he's best at in the slot, being able to work on some of these smaller DBs, find zones, and just be a smart football player. And that's what I don't think he gets enough recognition for that. He's extremely intelligent and understands the concepts, timing of it. And then Mike's just, I don't even know how to explain it. Like,
how awesome is it? Just like in your back pocket, like,
just put the ball up for 13.
Just throw it to Mike. He's going to catch it.
If it's one-on-one, I said it last night, it's not a 50-50 ball. It's much more in the chances of Mike catching it.
That's wild. Tell me, for both of you, when you're watching, in particular, that first touchdown catch, Cam, while I know you're at home smoking stuff on your grill, living your best retired life, that play happens. Tell me what goes through your mind, and then for you on the field as well.
I mean, I saw that for 9 years. He's got this like absurd.
You're like, I'm bored at this point.
The thing is, like, he makes it look so easy. Like, it's such a hard catch. Like, he's fighting through someone, positioning his body, and like he's got stretch arms, strong arms. It's unbelievable. Like,
nice.
Mike, like, his arms just like keep going, and he makes that catch like above his head, arms like palms facing in, looks so easy, and it's so hard. Like, I sucked at that. Like, I had to catch a ball like this. Like, Mike makes that look so easy, and it's so hard. He's an incredible player. And me as a fan watching the game yesterday, I was just so excited to see how Chris was being utilized again. Because like you said, he is so smart. Having a guy like that, especially on third down, finding ways to get him matched up one-on-one, like, no one's going to be able to cover Chris one-on-one. Even if they're covering him, he's going to, like, contort his body in a weird way and make a catch. Like, so that was, for me as a fan, like, going forward, I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's special. Yeah, that first catch by Mike, the guy probably couldn't have played it any better. Walled him all the way to the sideline, didn't have a whole lot of space, but just giving him enough air to somehow beat the guy and stretch his arms out. But like Cam's saying, he catches the ball out in front of him, and then there was one on the sideline where he's running this way and he catches it like he's rebounding a basketball, and very few people can actually do that. They got to catch it fundamentally, don't let it cross your eyes, but somehow he gets his hands, and he's got some mitts on him.
Now, He did recently put you in Slytherin in a discussion we had when I asked him to name some people in the Hogwarts houses.
Yeah, that's,
So
it was personal.
Took it a little personally?
Yeah.
Did we agree or not agree with this sentiment?
I agree.
Yeah, you can't even.
I can say as much as I want, but I agree with it.
I like that. What's Cam over here?
You think Slytherin?
Hufflepuff for sure.
I was thinking Hufflepuff over here. Nothing wrong with Hufflepuff.
Not there's anything wrong with it.
No. I'm cool with Hufflepuff. Yeah.
You accept it?
You think Hufflepuff for me?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
We can hang out.
We can hang out. Yeah,
What is Mike? What does Mike say? Is?
Of course he says he's a Gryffindor. Come on now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
No, he's not. He's not.
And then he was very quick to put Bacon in Slytherin.
Yeah.
Like that was his very first thing.
There was
that
no
he said.
hesitation
There
when he
was,
said
and
it.
I wondered if that hurt you, or if it's like he's good enough at catching the football that you're like, you know what, that's all right.
I'll take it. He keeps doing that. He can say whatever he wants.
Also, so this was at an event we had recently where it was a big panel discussion, and one of the things that also came out on this panel discussion was that Coach Bowles, he's already laughing, it's just how good it was, that Coach Bowles was a radio DJ back when he played football.
Honestly, like I'm not. All right, it's like a little surprising at first, but like I can totally see it.
Any guesses on the DJ name?
Yeah, there's so many great options there.
No.
Do you remember what he said the show was called?
Funky Tea? No?
Funky Tea Time?
Yeah.
That was great. And then that would be your name too, of incorporating golf there. But yeah, no, he said that his
nice.
show was Land of Love.
The Land of Love.
Oh, Coach Ball. That's hilarious.
He said he only played like R&B,
Yep.
soothing jams.
I can see it.
And he was like anonymous. No one even knew he was like an NFL player doing it. This is just what he wanted to do in his offseason. And we brought it up and watching Baker, Mike, Antoine, they were all up there. And their faces as they learned this information was the best moment ever. And yeah, I love that for you. You're like, I'm not surprised.
I can see it. I can see it, like the music taking over and him really like getting into it. Yeah, no. I can see it low key, like on the side, exactly. It's like a hobby, like one thing you didn't know about me, Coach Bowles.
Yeah, that's great.
You know,
What would your radio show be like?
I don't know. It'd probably be very, very chaotic. Taking a lot of calls and requests, and then not listening to those calls and requests, and really doing my own thing.
Is this how Liam Cohen would describe you as a quarterback?
I hope not. I hope not.
I hope not. That's amazing. All right, we are going to have more coming up here on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back into Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. We are here with Cam Brate, Baker Mayfield, after an amazing win. We were talking before the break about Chris and Mike and just the incredible chemistry you guys have, and I'm sure that's a big part of the continuity for you and how great that is. We hear about that a lot, the chemistry and the importance of that. Tell me what that tangibly means. What are some examples of what can happen when you have chemistry with a wide receiver, and maybe specifically with those two guys?
Yeah, just it's a lot of trust in, understanding, and they know how my footwork times up with the route concept, that they have to get to a certain point. I'm expecting them to be at this yard or wherever it is out on the field on the timing of it. So coverages, like nothing ever goes the way your installs, it's lines on a page, and nothing ever goes that way in a game. But they understand the timing of it, of where they need to be, and just being there for me. So it comes into play on one of the third downs, when Rush is getting there, and I have to let the ball go pretty early, just for Mike on an outbreak, things like that, and Chris understanding, like on a third down coverage, what his leverage is and how to win the man-to-man matchup, and that he's going to make the end break, and I'm going to put it on time, and we just got to beat one defender inside, and they understand that, and that only comes with reps and guys having that natural feel that you really can't teach. And they both have that natural instinct.
So, because obviously Jalen has a big role with the team, and I feel like it's harder to develop that just in practice. Mm-hmm. So, like, how are you guys working that out? How do you think it went yesterday, going forward too? I
think it went really well, especially with Jalen. You never know how guys are going to react in their first real NFL game. Preseason's one thing, but when it really matters, I think he handled everything well. And it's just to get that with a guy that you don't have as many reps with, it's just the over-communication. And then he's always listening to what I'm saying to Mike and Chris, and obviously always over-communicating with him too. But it's just, you got to make sure you're on the same page, because, when the ball's snapped, anything can happen.
What do you remember, Cam, about being on the other end of the chemistry side and trying to build that? What's that like being the person receiving the ball? And I'm thinking about Jameis, Tom, very different quarterbacks that you're having to build chemistry with.
Right.
Tell me what that's like on your end and what you remember about doing that.
Like Baker said, it's all about reps. And, you know, I do think there's a big difference between getting those reps in practice versus getting them in a game. And going along with that, you can only really develop the trust in games. And so, yeah, I mean, no one worked harder than Jameis, and he was pretty much my first quarterback here. So me and him took 1,000,000 reps after practice to get on the same page. And it was probably diminishing marginal benefits to that. You know, I think I was getting a little tired sometimes, but I think establishing that connection with him, it was able to build a little bit more trust going into the games, and then that's when the big incremental improvements in timing, trust, just being on the same page with one another really happened.
Now, I know Cam earlier brought up your mobility, that you were taking off running a few times, getting some stuff with your legs. I feel like you love doing that. You love throwing a stiff arm. You love popping up. You did quite a dramatic first down point after one of them. It was pretty great. Is there something about those that gets you particularly fired up?
It's just, you know, I said it yesterday, trying to let the defense dictate where the ball needs to go in our passing game. And if they drop back and they do a good job of covering it in zone coverage or man, there's going to be lanes for me to run and take advantage of that. But it's more so just taking what's there. Now the celebration, though, I got a little confused on which hand to use. So if you slow it down, I started to use the right one. Should have been the left the whole time. It's the first game. It's the first game for me, too.
Working out kinks.
So for next time, too, keep in mind what the camera perspective is. So your back was to the camera as well.
Oh, so now I got to
So you got to face the east.
It's awareness rating on Madden. This is what it's about.
And so then that'll help you in terms of getting, a little face.
What am I, a homing pigeon?
Just something to think about going forward.
I'll take that.
I'm assuming this is what happens in film session. This is what you're watching and studying for.
The important stuff.
No,
and also for Cam to be the one telling you how to either celebrate or trash talk or taunt, this is very funny to me, of all people, to be giving you advice
Mr.
on
Vanilla
this.
over here?
Mr. Vanilla.
Dude, I was sick of celebrating.
Would you panic and just spike the ball?
Tell me your
dude. As kind of like a goofy white guy, dude, you got to just spike the ball. Quarterback is different. You can do a little bit more.
I love that he's basically as a fellow goofy white guy, you have more
but
flexibility.
you can do your own touch on it.
He's less goofy. He's less goofy than me.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the dancing video of you at Oklahoma? You got some rhythm.
There's a little bit in there.
What was Todd's radio show?
Oh, Land of Love.
If he was mixing it up, you would be able to vibe to that. Me, I'm just standing there. I'm doing the hitch.
Yeah,
just back and forth.
6
But I
inches.
think his radio station, it's mostly
6 inches.
It's all
But I
right
feel
here.
like
it's all right here.
you could do a little more than
Don't
me.
go out here. It's all right here.
It's all
Yeah.
right there, yeah.
Did you ever even try to trash talk, even once?
I did one time, and
Really?
I still think about it.
I still think about it. It haunts your dreams at night?
So the guy he lives in Tampa.
Oh, well, that was a bad move already.
Yeah, it was to Alex Anzalone, the linebacker who now plays for the Lions. And he said something to me, I said something back.
Do we get to know what that was?
No. But then, I saw him later, and, someone else, he had told someone else that I had said something to him. The whole thing is just a nightmare for me, and, yeah, I'm not going to do it ever again in any capacity.
I'll bring it up to him this week.
No, you don't have to. Yeah.
No,
He'll remember, because it was, awkward. It was, incredibly awkward for both sides.
If you make a play against him, I think you should just be like, Cam Brate says hi.
Yeah. That'll rattle him.
They will?
That'll rattle him.
I'm always looking for an advantage.
I know you got famous last year for yelling at someone to get their weight up, which is one of the more creative trash talks I've heard in a minute. Yeah. Didn't I hear you lost some weight this offseason? So now do you feel like that's not a option to bust out? Can you still yell that? How do we feel?
There's a time and place to use it. I'm not the biggest guy, so
it was an interesting choice.
I can look at somebody and know that I can say that. There's very few people on the field that I'm actually bigger than. So I'm going to take advantage of the opportunities when I have them.
How often do you trash talk?
Not a lot. I'm not really the instigator.
I feel like most
will
people
not
say
back
that.
down.
I don't know how often I believe it, but
If you say something to me, I'm going to keep going and probably push the limit.
yeah, that seems fair. We're talking to Baker Mayfield. You have said in the past you almost feel like you need a bit of a chip on the shoulder, or you have always had one anyway, and then you feel like it's a big part of how you've played. You got a new contract. You're the guy here. Do we still have the chip on the shoulder? Do we need it? If so, where's it? What's it from? What does it look like? Has it changed shape and size a little bit since this deal?
Yeah, there's always definitely a chip on the shoulder. It's just, I think at this level you got to have that edge to compete at the highest level. Some guys are different, but for me it's getting into the mentality of, nobody believes in us. Just it's almost a sick, twisted way in the mind of tricking yourself. But yeah, just playing with that edge is something I need, but also having fun at the same time. It's kind of a fine balance to walk.
I'll make sure it's my personal responsibility to keep him level-headed.
I mean, you are the
make
one.
Make sure to bring him down if he gets too high.
And in turn, we can give you some rhythm and trash talk.
All right, perfect.
What a partnership.
It's a deal.
This is going to benefit everybody.
Deal.
Business acquisition.
So take me through the process for you getting that new deal, what it meant to you, what it meant to know what the Bucs thought of you, and to have that consistency after a lot of moving around, a lot of turmoil earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, my NFL career and journey so far has not been what I envisioned by any means. Just the bouncing around, all that, instability. But to sign the one-year deal last year on a prove-it deal, and it's pretty plain and simple. It's either you play well, you get extended, or another opportunity somewhere else. Or I was looking at being a backup for somebody, and so knowing that they believed in me, gave me this chance, it's very settling, a very comfortable feeling. But it's just the opportunity to be able to improve on what we built last year and try and take that next step.
I also feel like Tampa fits you, and you fit Tampa. Do you agree with that?
I do. I really do.
Tell me why that is.
I think, one, the way of life down here. Everybody's outside, enjoys it, happy about it. And it's a sports town, kind of an eclectic group, people from all over. I feel like it's very rare to have somebody born and raised in Tampa that still is here. So it's people from all over that join in with the sports world, but enjoying it, competitive. And I think it's almost the underdog mentality. Like we mentioned earlier, people kind of always let the Bucs slip under the radar, and it's always like we have something to prove.
So tell me what you do in your free time here in Tampa. If people were to come across Baker Mayfield out and about, where would they find you?
Probably something with a dog.
I think Cam looks like he almost wants you to say hanging out with Cam Brate, maybe.
Hanging out with Cam Brate. There's a few local watering holes that I venture to with the fellas, and there's a judgmental face going on over here, but it's all about team chemistry.
Oh, that's yeah.
In golfing.
That's it.
Yeah.
The whole motivation for the watering holes is just the team chemistry.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
the whole thing. That's
strictly team bonding.
Winning in the NFL is hard, so
It is.
you got to celebrate.
You have to.
Did you celebrate accordingly yesterday?
No, they left me hanging.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
No, everybody had family in town for the first game.
Okay.
I won't take it too personal. I'll just be
right.
thinking about it for the next 3 weeks.
All right, yep. Just win again on Sunday.
Yeah, and then get to enjoy some, Mario Kart and the plane ride back home.
Yeah.
Funny you should bring that up. A little birdie that was walking down the hallway this morning, maybe a big birdie if we're being honest about it, said I should ask you who's better at Mario Kart.
Tristan said this, didn't he?
Birdie, not so secret. Tristan wanted to know who was better at Mario Kart, you or him.
It pains me to say this. He might be the best Mario Kart player I've ever seen.
Wow.
It's unbelievable.
He will be shocked you said that. He was like, he won't say me, but he should say me.
Why would I not say him? We're keeping a count of the winnings for the year. It started when we went to Jacksonville. He honestly it's stupid how good he is. Him and Hainsey and some of the other guys will look at they'll go to YouTube and look up the time trials for certain courses and tracks on Mario Kart, and they'll race against the world record, and they're pretty competitive with it. And it's pretty intense on the plane rides.
That's amazing. I love this. And how often do you win? Do you ever win against him?
I win every once in a while. There's got to be some other factors that play in for me to win. Definitely not a head-to-head matchup, though.
So what do you guys play on? What system? Is it
Nintendo Switch.
Switch?
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't need Wi-Fi or anything,
Right.
just Bluetooth connection.
Okay.
We get about 7 or 8 guys in there. Play some Grand Prix.
Do you think is it all mental, or is there some physical? Is it dexterity in the fingers? Is it?
There's a lot of mental with it.
I
Understanding
feel like
the course.
Does Tristan have a special one?
He's got a special giant controller.
Yeah,
where
I figured
like,
his thumbs it might be hard
He's
for him to
mashing all the controls at once.
Yeah.
No, this
not
button.
that one.
Yeah, he's got a little special thing going on for him.
That's great.
It's fun though.
Outside of him kicking your butt in Mario Kart, you guys, it seems like y'all have just such an awesome relationship. I mean, and how important of all positions on the team for that to be your guy feels pretty well selected there. Tell me what it's been like for you guys to get to have this journey together as not only teammates but friends.
It's been unbelievable. You know, getting to know him really quickly last year, and then obviously both found out that we were going to become dads around the same time, and it just like that new chapter of your life and new beginnings. It's just a fun thing to be able to go through that with somebody that you're that close with. Makes it even more special. And then you add in other guys on the team that are having babies as well. We get the outsiders now, former Bucs that
it's
are
not
new
even
dads
just
as well.
the water in the facility. It's anyone that's ever been a Buccaneer is having a child.
But it's just fun to be able to go through that with friends. I think Cam's got it figured out the best out of all of us. But it's fun to be able to grow and go through. K-Dot actually has you. I take that back.
That was such a short-lived.
I take that back.
I can't compete. I give it to Cade.
Yeah.
That was a really short-lived moment you had there of like you.
Well, I don't have a job, and so like I'm kind of like stay-at-home dad. I got a lot more time to devote.
You're doing great,
to fatherhood. Thank you. I appreciate it. What do you think you as a father, strengths and weaknesses?
Strengths? Being able to adapt on the fly. You know, you're such a routine guy that I feel like if there's a wrench thrown into it, I don't know, I need to see you in the chaotic moments.
No, we don't want the chaos.
Cam's like,
Avoid
no,
the chaos at all costs,
No, it's fun though. Just rolling with the punches, trying to figure it out as we go. It's so much fun.
No weaknesses?
Weaknesses? Ooh, stinky diapers are my weakness.
Okay, yeah.
I had a weak
Wait. Dude, she's not even really eating solid food yet.
She just started and but just started trying.
It's going to get worse.
And
it gets worse.
I'm not having fun anymore changing the diapers.
Yeah, no, it gets pretty bad pretty quick, yeah.
Also, you said that's basically your only way to contribute at this point.
She won't take a bottle, so yeah, it is.
And you're already just like, this one thing is not what I want to be doing anymore.
I think I need to get like a gas mask or a clothespin, put it on the nose.
Full hazmat suit.
Keep one handy. Yeah. Good thinking.
I like that. How about you, Kim? Strengths and weaknesses?
Strengths and weaknesses. Strengths as a father. I'm really good, like good tempo, good maneuverability on the stroller. Like, even if it's not a level playing field, like pretty good at, keeping her happy in there, which is hard because I got Archie too. I got the dog pulling, yanking me.
Archie's tiny.
Yeah, he's a beast though. He's a beast though. Weaknesses as a father.
Doesn't skip leg day.
Weaknesses.
Cares too much.
Tries too hard.
Too devoted.
Too hard.
No, he's a super dad. He really is.
Aww.
Well, thank you, Baker. I don't know. I definitely have some weaknesses, but it's just not coming. A lot of strengths. I have so many strengths. It's
we can text your wife in the break if we need.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm sure she's got plenty.
He's like, that's not important. All right, we have more coming up here on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio. Welcome back to Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. We were just talking about the new dads here in the room. Has being a dad changed you in any way or changed your approach to football?
Ooh, I definitely have a lot more patience now. I don't get as irritated as quick. Now there's still definitely a little man syndrome in there. I don't think that'll ever go away, but definitely have more patience when it comes to trying to get our point across of what we're trying to get accomplished scheme-wise and whatnot, and just making sure we over-communicate it. And I think that's something just have to have as a parent.
I like that. So let's think about the different phases of Baker. We got high school Baker, college Baker, early pro career, and then now Buccaneer Baker. What do you feel like are the biggest similarities and differences in these different phases of your life?
Ooh, most similarities, rolling with the punches. I think no matter what the situation is or wherever I'm at, finding a way to make it work when whatever it is everything happens. You know, you can have a plan. There's going to be a wrench thrown into it. That's just the way life works. It's the way a game of football works. Just being able to adapt on the fly with that. Biggest differences, just priorities in general. Realizing what really matters. You know, the relationships. You know, setting a good example, and just being consistent for everybody in the building, outside of the building. And, you know, not letting the little things weigh on me too much.
I like that. What have you seen of watching Baker as a friend and from afar and taking on this new role, Cam? What do you feel like are the biggest things that if you had gotten a chance to play with him that you would have liked?
That I would have liked about Baker?
Mm-hmm.
I was honestly just thinking about that when we were talking. I think he's just very authentic, which is probably the number one attribute you can have as a leader, is just being yourself and not trying like too hard to be the leader, right? I feel like people are just naturally drawn to Bake, and he does a great job making everyone feel included in the group, kind of picking his spots when he needs to get on guys, but also being the guy who goes over, you know, you drop your first pass in the NFL. I'm sure Bake was the first guy by Jalen, you know, and it paid off. You know, Jalen made a huge play later in the game, and yeah, I think it's not something you can teach. I feel like he just naturally has that, you know.
Thanks, Cam.
Oh,
yeah.
Such a nice guy.
Isn't that nice? That's
Yeah.
what we do. We bring
I'll
guys on here
Venmo
just to
request
build
you
you
for
up.
that later. Yeah.
Yeah, how much did you pay him to say all this, man?
You
Is
don't
that what that
wanna
New Deal
know.
money went to, is bribing Cam to say all these nice things?
Yeah.
I know, especially we talked about your relationship with Tristan, but you did build relationships with a lot of the guys, and especially the whole O-line.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard you're almost sort of a indoctrinated member. You get to be part of the dinners. Is this accurate?
This is accurate.
Tell me what O-line dinners are like, as especially an outsider getting to witness them.
There's a lot of airing of grievances. But
Festivus every week.
Yes, it is. Festivus, yes. Festivus for the rest of us. No, it's such a special group. You know, those guys, they never get enough credit for everything that they go through. So, like, and it's always, they have that herd mentality. They all stick together. But it's just so fun to be around them because most of them are gentle giants. And just being able to be outside of the building with them, eat, enjoy a meal, tell stories, you know, obviously air the grievances, and then go from there just to have fun. It's an awesome thing, and it's such a special room already. Like any O-line room should be a special room, but this group is so tight-knit, and that's what makes it so much fun to be around those guys.
Your amount you eat versus what they eat at dinner. What does that look like?
It's not even close. You know, when we go to these places, first of all, we get there at like 4:30. It's like an early bird special dinner.
We're going to Denny's?
Yeah, basically. And we always let like Hainsey or Justin School order the appetizers, and they come out and it's just like nonstop appetizers.
It's like 4 of everything.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, you guys ready to order entrees? I'm like, I've been done since the second appetizer came out, and these guys are just still housing food. So no, but it's fun, and you know, we do our weigh-ins on Thursday, then do dinners on Thursday night. So depending on how the guys are weighing in, weighing out, yeah, they might eat a little extra.
That's great. I love that. How about just what you've seen from them all preseason? Couple new guys on the line, the way they've been able to gel in preseason and in this first game. Yeah,
I think there were a lot of questions outside the building about Luke last year going back to tackle, which is his natural position from college. And Luke he's a stud. He's the guy he's the enforcer on our O-line. He's going to talk the most trash. He's going to be the one annoying it till the very end of the whistle with his hands on you. And I just seeing how consistent he's been this offseason, you know, perfecting his craft, getting better. Cody's gotten a lot better. Adding in a guy like Ben Bredesen, who's got a lot of game experience and is able to communicate with Graham. You know, playing center is not easy in the NFL. Transitioning from college to the NFL when you haven't played center in a long time is even harder. So for those guys to be able to communicate with him, and Graham's handled it really, really well. And, you know, Robert Hainsey has been a great guy for him to be able to bounce ideas off of, to help him out, and there's no ego about it. Obviously, Hainsey wanted to play, but being able to help him out, understanding that we need that whole room together, it's so much fun to see those guys work together and support each other, and I'm extremely happy with the way they played. The defensive line for Washington is very good. They've got a lot of first-round talent up there, guys that have a lot of potential, so it wasn't an easy matchup, but they handled it really well.
What are the first impressions of Graham that you had in watching him and the way he's already grown from coming in here at the beginning to now, and just kind of the type of center you think he's going to be?
I think he's going to be extremely intelligent, identification-wise, getting everybody on the same page. Now, being a rookie, it's always, you kind of hear, just shut up and do your job, rookie. But as a center, you have to be vocal. And so you've seen him from the beginning of OTAs through training camp get a little bit more vocal. I think as the season goes on, you'll see him grow more and more in that leadership role. But right now, he's just trusting what he's saying and calling what he needs to. But it's fun to see him slowly start to come out of his shell a little bit and see that personality show.
And how are you two working together in terms of calling the protections, the way that you're trying to help him as a rookie and the way he's needing to step into being able to do a lot of that?
It's a lot of prep work during the week of understanding what looks we're getting. Here's what he's seeing, making sure that I'm on the same page with it. And then, when it comes to protection, if I see anything in the secondary that we might need to fix or flip the look, we'll go from there and adjust, because I don't want to put too much on his plate. There's already enough for him to have to handle. So just being able to adjust on the fly and do that prep work during the week.
Do you make your centers wear a towel down their pants the way a certain former Bucs quarterback did?
I don't make them, but there is a difference when they don't wear it.
Wow.
And Graham quickly was told to wear a towel.
By?
Somebody that shall not be named.
I like that. I still think that's hilarious of like learning, watching Hainsey and all of this, of like everyone learning to, and I love that now you're just like, I'm not going to make them.
The baby powder trail
as
they run, incredible.
The verbal abuse that I heard was endured by our centers is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
They're only slightly scarred from it.
Especially poor Hainsey, because he was a rookie under.
He was a rookie.
Yeah, oh yeah, so he got it like twofold. Yeah.
And just the baby powder, I remember you could just see a cloud at the beginning of practice. I'm like, you know what though? I get it. It makes a lot of sense. Like you said,
it does.
It works.
It does. It makes sense and it works.
That's so funny. How about the tight end group? I feel like, first of all, it's amazing that in a roster that, making the 53, there's every position. It is so important of who gets what spot, and do we pull from this one if we need an extra guy here. Four guys to all say they needed a spot and make them keep 4 versus 3 means that obviously the team sees the potential in all 4 of them. Tell me, with those different guys, what you think they're going to be able to bring to the offense and to you as a quarterback.
Yeah, we'll start with Devin Culp, our new guy from the draft. Devin's a guy that is extremely athletic, can really flat out just run. Now he's going to have to learn the game. That comes with time, but he's got the potential there, and so we're excited about what he's capable of bringing to the plate for us. Obviously Kokeith, a guy that's extremely physical, a guy that you can kind of plug into different packages. Obviously, huge.
Got to get the ball to Ko.
Got to get the ball. Huge playmaker with the ball.
His percent of receptions is incredible when targeted.
Exactly.
Touchdown to catch ratio is really good.
Secret weapons, some might say.
Yeah.
But he's a huge teams guy, so you can't. You never take that for granted. And
also, Ko feels so on brand for like a kind of blocking tight end, of the long red hair, and he's like in his garage when he gets drafted, and I love it so much.
We love Ko. It's just the physicality that he brings, and I think it's the pure joy he gets out of the physicality of the game. He knows he's not going to be the pass-catching tight end, but just to come in there for run game, just set the tone with those guys. So he brings that aspect. Payne Durham's brought a lot of potential just to be able to get into 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, and he's a good pass-catching tight end, but he also worked really hard on putting some more weight on to be able to block better. And Payne's a goofball. I love Payne. He's so much fun to be around. You never know what he's going to say. He's kind of the wild card of the group, and then you add in Cade, Mr. Consistent, Mr.
Wild
Quiet.
Card of the group. Cade Otten.
Cade is just a sweetheart. He's always going to be where he's supposed to be and on time. He's Mr. Consistent, kind of a swagless wonder with no gloves. He's just.
He has his own swag.
I think he's taking after Mr.
I had a lot of swag. Relax.
We didn't mean to laugh that loud.
No, Cade is truly, being sincere, the #1 power rankings for me, nicest human being I've ever met in my life.
Yep. Which, coming from maybe the #2 nicest human being.
I got a dark side. Cade Cade has no dark side.
No, he actually doesn't.
No, he's truly like the kindest human being in the world. You know what I was thinking about too? It was a preseason game last year. You guys did a reverse to Cade, and you guys never ran it. Can we get that back in? It got like 10 yards. It got like 10 yards.
It got like 10 yards. Yeah. No.
Okay. All right.
We'll throw it to him.
Yeah,
he's a couple screens,
exactly.
couple screens to him.
Yeah.
The reverse, not his forte.
Yeah, I feel like Cade's a good fit in this offense, though, and I
He
feel
really
like
is.
yesterday wasn't necessary really to feature the tight ends, kind of the way that Washington was playing, but I think going forward, kind of like looking what Higbee did in LA, like kind of a perfect fit for what Cade does. So I think Cade's going to bring a lot.
I really do, and that's what I'm excited about. Is this offense is able to adjust to whatever they're going to give us, and yesterday was a lot of the outside matchups, and it's not always going to be the case against certain defenses. And yeah, you exactly right. You look at what Tyler Higbee's been able to do in LA on some of the play action stuff, and I mean, Cade's so reliable that we know that the games they want to take Mike and Chris away, Cade's going to have a big one.
And how do you see Liam's offense baby being a little bit different from last year in terms of the tight end usage? We've heard a lot about, like he does a little bit more of the just one tight end out there potentially. Mm-hmm. Do you see, but then they chose to keep 4. They chose to keep guys that are definitely receiving tight ends. Have we maybe overreacted to that of like, it doesn't seem like they're going to be as big a part of it? Or is that, how do you just kind of see his offense wanting to deploy them?
Personnel-wise, we're definitely going to live a lot more in the 11 personnel with just 1 tight end, 3 receivers on the field. But that doesn't mean they're not involved in the pass game. It's just, what this offense is able to do with the motions and whatnot to give them the same personnel with a bunch of different looks. And so that's just scheme-wise, but they'll still be very involved.
What did you say that Cade gave you as a Christmas present one year?
Sick. It was a Levi's jean jacket, but it wasn't like a cool one. It was just like it was like a functional one. Like it was like the farmer's.
Like a work jean jacket.
It was a work jean jacket. But he gave it to us like totally serious. Like no, but like I do think he was kidding. But it's hard to tell sometimes with Cade. So all of us were just like, thanks, dude. Like, we really appreciate it.
Swagging out in our
Canadian
tuxedos over
here. We all
here.
wore it on the next away trip.
Did you wear a hard hat and bring your lunch pail too?
Yeah, it's an incredible jacket. I'll wear it sometime. Yeah, I still have it.
That's amazing.
I'm kind of jealous I don't have one.
And,
I'll talk to Cade. He also gave us socks too. It was like a very nice Christmas. It was like nice. He gave us like stuff he thought we would use.
He gave you socks. I really enjoyed that.
It's a very functional Christmas gift.
It was.
I like that.
I still wear those socks all the time.
I
love it. 3-pack.
3. I mean, that's what a deal.
Yeah.
What a deal over there. Yep. I feel like we've gotten a chance. We've slightly roasted Cade a little bit. I feel like we should turn the tables now and
roast Baker. Perfect.
Absolutely. I would love to listen to you try to roast anybody. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's see how this. I'm sure you're shaking in your boots right now, Baker.
I'm so scared.
Yeah. Wow. Where to start? No, I would never do that to Bake. Too nice of a guy.
See,
that's not true.
That's what I knew.
That's not true. He's just not going to do it on camera. He's too nice of a guy.
You, however, are not. So I think go ahead.
Did you have your filet and 10 eggs this morning, you psycho?
No, that comes a little later.
You wait till noon?
No, I had a little something this morning. But
filet and 10 eggs?
No, you don't pair them up. It's like.
Oh yeah, that was the craziness of what we just
one
said.
Then the other.
Yeah.
You can't have them touching on the plate. God forbid that. Yeah.
I'm picturing him with one of those kid clown plates that have the separators.
Yes.
So I'm sorry. No, 10 eggs was the chaotic part of what he just said. I feel like. Do you eat 10? Are you Gaston from Beauty and the Beast? What is happening?
Dude, that would be sick, huh? If you were Gaston. I mean, that guy's kind of a stud, huh?
We just found his role model.
Yeah, so like I feel like if I don't, I know if I don't eat like that, I'm gonna be skinny. I don't want to be skinny. I have a hard time gaining weight.
You were one of those that had to work to be football big, yeah.
Very hard. I know Baker has that problem too.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, I mean, I still eat a lot. Yeah.
That's wild.
10 eggs every morning.
That's insane.
It's like quick, cost effective. Efficient,
There's that swag we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
There it is.
And you know how like guys are so excited to get to the NFL because they don't have to do school anymore? He goes back to school. Like,
Nerd.
It's fair.
exactly.
It's fair. It's fair.
Harvard man goes back to school.
But
Typical.
it's like,
Typical.
you
It's
know,
so predictable. What are we in school? Harvard wasn't sufficient. We had to go back.
I went to the Harvard of Tampa, University of Tampa.
There you go.
Yep. So yeah, I'm back in school right now. Trying to find some direction, where to go next.
Listen, I admire it. I could never do it.
I believe in
hear
I
you.
could never do it.
I'll sponsor you.
Nope.
Yep.
It's a
I'll
waste.
tutor you.
That is a waste.
Did you graduate?
I did graduate.
What was your degree in?
Did you
Surprised
see
that
that?
was?
No.
Did you graduate?
No, I meant that more so like, because like you're so good at football. It's like, dude.
You didn't
Okay,
even
I was
need
in,
the
I was in
school
business
thing.
school and changed my major, and it took me a year and a half to tell my parents.
That's okay.
I was like,
What was it? What was it, and then what did it become?
I was gonna do. I truly didn't know what I was gonna do on the business side of things. It was like general business school.
Just business of any kind.
Business.
Baker
ethics.
Mayfield, businessman.
Then switched to communication.
That fits.
Really, really high level degree.
Yeah, you're a great communicator. It paid
I
off.
I
feel
feel like
slightly
I
attacked, but
should.
it's all right.
I feel like I should be ahead of Nelson and Mike at this
In the PR
at this
group.
stage of my career.
Perfect. We can
I'm
work
sure
on
they love to hear
internship-
that too.
You know
internship
what? My
opportunity.
phone doesn't go off in the middle of press conferences, so let's air our grievances now.
I love it. It started Roast Cam and turned into Roast our PR department, which
Yes,
I'm
yes.
here for.
And don't get me started on Steven.
Now we've turned to the producers, everybody.
Oh, hey, Steven.
Didn't even know he was in here to
Oh,
listen
sorry,
to
I
that.
didn't see you there.
Oh, amazing. We're going to take a quick break here. We're going to have more on Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio.
Congrats on the degree, man.
Welcome back to Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. We have Cam Brate, we have Baker Mayfield. It's time for our final segment. We're going to look a little bit forward now to this Lions matchup. Before we get into that one specifically, tell me for you, Baker, what is watching film like? What are the biggest things that you pay attention to, watch, learn from, and how has it evolved over your career?
Ooh, the most important thing now I'm looking at is protection. What are the certain looks that we have to make adjustments to really get blocked up and be able to get the ball out? You look at that, and then you start looking at coverages and tendencies of what they like to call in certain down and distances. Obviously, you kind of split it up when you watch third downs and all that based on personnels. What are they doing? Formationally, you split it up. So it's just, for me, it's evolved of being able to recognize. I guess my film study is way more efficient now. It doesn't take as long. I'm still watching the same amount of tape, but the recognition and memorization has definitely evolved a lot.
And so now, getting into this Lions game, does it feel like a bit of a revenge game? Like it has a little more weight to it maybe than some others?
It's just an exciting one. Anytime you finish the season against somebody and you have them that early the next season, it's obviously a great opportunity to be able to go back and, especially when you're playing there again, to be able to go back and still have that taste of the loss in your mouth a little bit. But every year is different, and it's a long season. Obviously, we're excited just about being able to go on the road for the first time this year, see how our team handles it, how they react. I love away games, and so to see what this group's going to do on the road early on against a tough opponent, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, you get 2.5 hours of Mario Kart there, 2.5 back as well.
That's the most important part.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding. There's
No,
the one.
I'm as a fan, I'm so excited for Sunday. Like,
Yeah.
I think two of the best teams in the NFC. We lost to them last year in the playoffs. Both teams pretty much returning the same nucleus of guys. Did you watch the game last night at all?
I watched the end of it. It was an exciting one.
Yeah, it was a great game. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we got Carlton Davis on the other side.
Yeah.
Carlton Davis revenge game. So I mean, there's a lot of storylines going.
There's a lot of stuff to be told and written about this week. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, their defense, it's interesting because they were the bottom third of the league last year. I know that they were a very good team, but some of the things in their secondary was kind of part of one of their weaknesses that they had a bit. They've added some pieces now, including our friend Carlton Davis. What do you see about their defense? I know we're incredibly early in the week as far as game planning, so I'll put a little asterisk there. But what do you see about their defense, front part, back part, of what could make them even more challenging this year?
I think a guy we mentioned earlier, Alex Anzalone, that is playing at a really high level for them, a leader on that team that has brought kind of helped provide the physical aspect that Dan Campbell wants to play with. And obviously you got Aiden Hutchinson up front. He presents his own issues. And then just, revamp in the secondary. Like you bring in a guy like Carlton and some other guys. I know that little pieces here and there are different, but just that physicality they play with. And so for us, it's going to be a good matchup, and I'm excited about it.
We're talking to Baker Mayfield. I know that you prep for their defensive side, but you obviously know about their offense to a degree. Tell me, guys like Jared Goff, and you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, and now you got their brand new rookie guy or their second-year guy, Jameson Williamson, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
What do you notice about their offense that's challenging?
I think when you look at personnel of our guys on offense and their guys on offense, you have their fast guys outside. You got Amon-Ra that can kind of do it all. Sam Laporta presents his own issues. Then you have a 1-2 punch with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They have a lot of weapons. I think their offense as well, like they got play calls that whatever the defense presents to them, their guys are expecting to win these matchups. And so that's kind of how we're at right now looking at it is however you guys want to play our receivers and tight ends and backs, if you take this away, we'll attack you in a different area. So it's a good matchup, but I think it's going to come down to who's the more physical team.
You talked about what Dan Campbell kind of brings and wants out of his team. Very unique coach in his approach to things. If you were to be a coach, are you more Todd Bowles, a little more reserved on the sideline, or are you more Dan Campbell?
I would love to be able to say that I would be more Todd Bowles, but there's zero chance I would be even keel. No chance.
No chance. You're freaking out.
No, I see like young BA right here.
Young BA.
You know what? I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take
It's a
that.
compliment.
I'll take
It
that.
is. It's not too shabby. I enjoy that. I also loved you and Coach Bowles with your excited moments in the press conference last week. That was a whole other version of Bowles that the media and outside people don't always get to see. Was that as surprising to you, or I feel like the team inside gets to see another version of him?
I tell you what, I was not expecting him to do that in the middle of the press conference or beginning, but it's fun to see that. I always say he's a very good trash talker behind the scenes. He always knows how to just like absolutely low jab to somebody, get them going, rile them up, and so for him to be able to show that, I think that's fun.
That's awesome. Well, man, Baker, thank you so much for coming on. This was a blast, and again, congratulations on Week 1 win. Absolutely killing it out there. Can't wait to see you guys take on the Lions this next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cam, thanks for being our co-host. First one of the books. You did great.
Thank you so much.
Kind of a
Baker.
natural.
Wow. You guys are too kind. Baker, great job yesterday and today. It's been a real honor and a privilege on my end, so best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, that has been Buccaneers Total Access, brought to you by Hooters, the original wing joint since 1983. This is Buccaneers Radio.